think it is slowing down a little bit. We'll give it a full minute. All right. Body sensing, followed by trauma sensitive yoga, and then the three in the middle. Nice. So, any questions before I pass it over to Kelsey? You can definitely email any of us.
Okay. We ready for practice now? I pulled up a timer, so I do have a clock rolling on my computer. I'm going to scoot my chair back away from my desk and where my camera and my screen are. You might want to do something similar. I'm also going to move up here and kind of adjust my camera a little bit. You might want to move where you are in your space. I will be practicing from a chair. You are invited to also practice from a chair. You might know another place you want to practice today. So you might want to sit on the floor, maybe sit somewhere else. You can also do this practice standing if you'd prefer to do the practice standing. After you've chosen where you want to start, you might take a moment to look around your space. And maybe you're looking around your space. Or maybe you're choosing to keep your attention near the computer. You're invited to watch if that feels useful today. You're also invited to maybe practice motion or movement in your body if that feels accessible. You might take a moment to start to lean your body from one side to the other, possibly noticing where you're connected or where your body is making connections. So whatever type of surface you're sitting or standing on. And as you're ready, you might acknowledge that you have arrived to your practice for today. If you're ready to add motion or other motions, you might start by lifting your chin, maybe looking up. You could stay here. As you're ready, you might start to lower your chin, possibly looking down. You might continue with this lifting and lowering of your chin, maybe lifting, looking up, possibly lowering, looking down. You may choose to move between these places or maybe holding one place for a count or two. Another way to add motion to your spine could be the next time that your head might look up, maybe you also start to lean your upper body forward. So you might be looking up, maybe you're leaning forward. And as you're ready, you could start to lower your chin. Maybe you look down. You might also want to start to round your spine, maybe curling forward. If you like, you could continue between these two places, maybe lifting your chin, possibly leaning forward. And if you like, you might start to lower your chin, maybe curling in. You might round your spine. You could choose how long you hold or maybe pause in one of these places, or maybe you like to create a rhythm moving between looking up or maybe looking down. In your own time, you might end this motion or this form. You could come back to center. And if you like, you might bring your arms out to your sides, maybe bending at your elbows. Your hands might be open or maybe they're closed. And if you like, you could reach your arms up overhead. Maybe your elbows start to straighten. And as you're ready, you might start to bend at your elbows, maybe bringing your hands closer to shoulder height, or maybe you're ready to pull your elbows in. So you might find this motion possibly by lifting your arms up overhead. Maybe your elbows start to straighten. And if you like, when you're ready, you might start to lower your hands, possibly curling your elbows close to you. You might continue with this lifting and lowering motion of your arms for as long as you like. And as you're ready, you might pause this motion or this place, maybe giving your arms a rest. When you're ready, you could start to lean your upper body forward, choosing how far forward you like to lean. And in your own time, you might start to lean your upper body back. Maybe your back makes contact with a chair or a wall, something that might be behind you. In your own time, you could lean your upper body forward. And as you're ready, you might start to lean your upper body back. So your torso could be moving in this rhythm of possibly forward, possibly back. Another way to add motion to your torso could be leaning from one side to the other. So you might change and start to lean your upper body one way. Maybe you pause here. And as you're ready, you could start to lean your upper body, maybe in the opposite direction. So maybe you're creating a rhythm here by leaning your torso one way, maybe leaning in the other. If you like, you could experiment with linking these motions, these torso motions together. So that might look like leaning your upper body forward, possibly leaning to one side, maybe leaning back, perhaps leaning to the other side, and maybe you come forward. So you might be creating kind of a circle motion with your torso. You might be moving in a circle with your torso. You could choose how fast you want these motions to be. If you're choosing to link your motions, you could be choosing to hold one place or maybe pause. And if you are moving in a circle, you might pause in one place and possibly reverse your direction. So you might start to make your circles in the opposite way in which you started. That's a possibility. You could continue moving in the same direction you started in if you wish. You might continue moving your torso in some way, in whatever way feels useful to you, for possibly a count of 3, maybe for 2, perhaps for 1. And whenever you're ready, you might end this motion or those forms, perhaps moving your torso to center. If you like, you might extend your leg out. You might extend your leg out. Your heel could be resting to the floor. Maybe your toes are pointed up. You might keep your leg extended, or if you're interested, you could experiment with lifting your leg off the floor. So you may choose how high you lift your leg off the floor. You might hold your leg in space, or maybe you want to find motion by lowering your heel towards the floor, maybe then lifting your leg into space. Whether you're holding or lifting and lowering, you might notice sensation in your leg, possibly your muscles engaging. There's also a possibility you might not notice sensation in this form. Whenever you're ready, you might end this motion, maybe bringing your foot to a resting place. If you're interested in trying this form on the other side, maybe you extend your other leg out. Your heel could be on the floor, maybe your toes are pointed up. If you like, you might keep your leg to the ground. Maybe you're interested in lifting your foot off the floor. You may choose how high you lift your leg off the floor. You could keep your leg in one place, or maybe you want to engage with lifting and lowering your leg. Wherever you are, you might notice sensation in your leg, possibly from your muscles engaging. There's also a possibility you might not notice sensation in this form today. And as you're ready, you might lower your foot, possibly coming to a resting place. If you're interested in finding a twist, you might start to turn your upper body one way. So maybe you turn your upper body one way. You could choose how far you're turning. And in your own time, you might turn your body to center. If you're interested in finding a twist on your other side, maybe you start to turn in the other direction. So you might start to turn, maybe look in the other direction. You may choose how far you're turning here. And in your own time, you might turn your body to center. There's an opportunity here to practice rest. So with rest, my voice will take a pause from speaking for 30 seconds. I do have a timer going on my computer and it's counting the seconds so I can see the timer. So there'll be a 30-second rest opportunity. And in rest, you might choose to find motion. Maybe you want to find some rhythm, possibly by leaning your torso one way or the other. Maybe in rest, you want to practice a form that you have already practiced, or maybe you haven't practiced yet today. Another way to have motion or movement in rest could be opening and closing your hands. So maybe you wanted to open and close your hands during rest. If you prefer not to be in motion during rest, you might find a posture or place where you like to be. So you could stay where you are. Maybe you wanted to move. Maybe you wanted to change where you're sitting or standing, or maybe you wanted to lie down for a moment. Making any adjustments that you might feel that are useful for your rest. Your eyes might be focused on an object in your space, maybe on your screen or your computer. If it feels safe, you might choose to close your eyes for rest. If you do choose to close your eyes, you may also choose to open them at any time for any reason. And I will take a pause from speaking as I keep time for 30 seconds and rest, beginning now. You may choose to close your rest in any way that feels useful to you. One way to close your rest might be finding motion or a new motion, different motion from which you might have been practicing. That could be maybe wiggling your hands, your fingers, maybe adding motion to your feet. You might take a moment to look around your space. Maybe you look around your space. You might have an interest in noticing where you're ending your practice. So that could be by shifting, that could be using your hands, maybe by pressing your hands into the floor, the seat, wherever you might be. And in your own time, in your own way, you might bring your attention to your screen or your computer. And thank you for sharing this virtual practice space today. I'm gonna pull my chair up towards the screen so I can kind of see what's going on in the chat. So much gratitude. Thank you all for your comments and thanks for sharing the virtual practice space. Any reflections or questions that might be coming up for you?